In the Lord's commandment to the people of this day, tithing is 1/10 of all their interest annually, which is understood to mean income. The First Presidency has said no one is justified in making any other statement than this. We pay tithing, as the Savior taught, by bringing the tithes into the storehouse. We do this by paying our tithing to our bishop or branch president. We do not pay tithing by contributing to our favorite charities. The contributions we should make to charities come from our own funds, not from the tithes we are commanded to pay to the storehouse of the Lord. The Lord has directed by revelation that the expenditure of his tithes will be directed by his servants, the First Presidency, the Quorum of the 12, and the presiding bishopric.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. What does it mean to be a leader of a religion? What is required? Is it just to preach scriptures to people? Such a person can be considered a good person as long as their interpretation is correct, teach people to be good, love other people. Scriptures abound with moral lessons to love your neighbor. It's considered the highest law, an understanding of all laws, love, not hate, not taking away agency. There emerged from televangelism megachurches that were amassing hordes of money. And back under the first coming of Trump, there was the one megachurch that refused to take people in who suffered from the natural disaster until the pressure got too great for him and realized that he was going to be financially hurt if he didn't at least let them stay in his megachurch during the natural disaster. He was compelled to love because wealth had gotten the better of him. Back in the 80s and into the 90s, there were the televangelists involved in sex scandals. There's one preacher who came on television telling his audience that Jesus was going to murder him if they didn't pay him so that he could purchase another ship or a yacht or a plane or whatever it was. Just scamming people out of their money, using Jesus as a front to do it. And people did it because people want to believe in a higher power. People want to believe that there's some explanation for why people don't love other than they made that choice. When we look at Joseph Smith, his church was not to care for himself, to prop himself up. He was preparing Mormons for the latter days, thus Latter-day Saints. All that he did and established was in similitude of the latter days. And so where the church capital was, it was called Zion, in similitude of the latter day New Jerusalem that would be built on the American continent. Article of Faith, number 10. Because I think 12 is obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law, not cooing the government. And his bishop's storehouse was for the poor. It wasn't to amass wealth. and hoard it for Jesus. Section 42. Section 120 is for section 42, not section 119. Section 119 is not Joseph's. And Mormons will get upset with me for that. But I cannot be disloyal to Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. I won't do it. If the church leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who claim Joseph is their founder, who claim the Book of Mormon is our keystone, go against them, then they're not true. When my bishop threatened me because the Strengthening Church Members Committee called him and said, Travis has a YouTube video. I don't watch YouTube. It doesn't matter. He did a video on how Adam fell, that man must be. Travis needs to take it down. That's going contrary to the living prophets of Jesus. That's 2 Nephi chapter 2. I found the Egyptian source document. I support the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints don't. And for these past 9 years since that threat, 8 years, January 2018, the church has again sought to destroy and murder me. Further financially ruin me. All because I preach Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon as written. And so despite all of the hate of Mormons against me, all of the threats, all of the death threats, all of the cyber terrorism, all of the bullying, all of the abuse, all of the hate, I still do my videos. So that Mormons can have a real religion in Zion. John chapter 21, starting in verse 15. So when they had dined, Jesus saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, agape thou me more than these? And he said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest I follow thee. He said unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, agape thou me? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest I follow thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, follow thou me. Peter was grieved because he saith unto him the third time, follow thou me. And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I follow thee. And he saith unto him, and Jesus saith unto him, Feed my sheep. Peter is the president of the 12 apostles. He's not a regular member of the church. Jesus is the head of the church. No, Caiaphas was. And so clearly, leaders of religion are to feed the flock. And so Peter is the shepherd. So Peter, as the shepherd, is the minister over the congregation, who are the sheep. And it is the shepherd's responsibility as the leader of the organization, the church, the congregation, to care for temporally and spiritually the people, the congregation. This should not be complicated to anybody to understand, correct? To misunderstand it, to botch it. New Testament lessons, 2023. For John 21. June 26th to July 2nd, Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, John 20 to 21. He is risen. Before exploring the teaching ideas in this outline, read Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, and John 20 and 21, and ponder how these chapters might be used to strengthen the faith of those you teach. Invite sharing to help class members share what they learned in their personal and family study. Ask them to write down a truth from this week's reading assignment that they feel should be shared with all the world. I want to scream. At the end of class, ask them if they found any additional truths they would like to share. Dear God, how Mormons are able to walk, let alone live, baffles me. None of that was scriptural. God. The blind creating the blind and then claiming to lead them. So, John 21, 1 to 17. Savior invites us to feed his sheep. Us? No, leaders of the church. The apostles, specifically the head of the 12 apostles. What might help your class members accept the Savior's invitation to feed his sheep? Well, hand over the storehouse to the members. You can start there. All of the hoarding of money. Joseph Smith makes it very clear that every single ward, bishop congregation, shepherd, is supposed to have a bishop storehouse. Not the 141, is it? Section 42, verses 28 to 34, and thus section 120. Storehouses are for the poor, and are for every single congregation with a bishop. And we can expand it to a branch president. So, 2025's membership stats for 2024, because we don't have them yet until April conference for 2025. 17,509,781. Total number of congregations, 31,676. So, as required by Joseph Smith, our founder, that every single congregation of 31,676 should have a bishop's storehouse for the poor to feed my sheep temporally and then thus spiritually. Should be 31,676 bishop storehouses. And we have 141. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints clearly is not feeding the sheep. Any confusion on this? Any reason why I will not cave my loyalty, my honor, and integrity to Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon? If these illiterate leaders, or is it Jesus, threaten me to say the church is true, bleep you. This is a clear violation, just like the megachurch. Leaders are responsible, not the people to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps to help the poor. Mormons know they give to the church to help the poor. That's their excuse. I pay tithing, so I don't pay fast offering. Well, tithing isn't for the poor. What? I've been giving my candy money as a kid, thinking that what they quote from Malachi refers to helping the poor, and it's not for the poor? What the hell am I giving tithing money for Jesus for? Oh, it's to pay him back for his free atonement? Oh, it's to no fap until I get married to only a Mormon girl in the temple as worthiness? That's called prostitution. Why do Mormon women have to be the highest paid prostitutes in the universe? And then when you get married, you don't have sex. They won't let you. I need a woman that I can ask this question to. I don't think I can ask Idaho chick. Why do women who want the bad boy don't want a relationship? And why do women who want the good boy don't want sex? Inquiring boys want to know. See, if we're a boy who wants a relationship with sex, is there any woman for us? No? All right. And so the whole thing here, I'll just keep reading. You might start by inviting them, to read John 21:15-17, as I just did for you, but they won't translate it correctly. Silently. Yeah, shut up. Replacing Simon's name with their own name. Really? So we can just replace Oaks? Hand it over, Oaks. The manual said so. We're supposed to replace you with us. I know how to feed the sheep, Oaks. Hand it over to me then. For example, people they minister to. Remember, they got rid of home teaching and replaced it with the ministering program, and so nothing gets done anymore. Not like it did anyway with the elders' quorums. After a few minutes, class members could share impressions they had. What do we learn about the Savior from his actions in John 21:4-13? What can we do to feed the Savior's lambs and sheep? Well, I pay fast offerings. To the 141 bishop storehouses. And then the church has an LLC company for the fast offerings, a reserve of the reserves, and the excess that they refuse to give to the bishop storehouses because there's only 141 goes into an offshore bank account in a non-extradition country, earning more than 10%. So, the statement by Elder Gary E. Stevens, an apostle of the Shepherd, which was Nelson at the time. So he should put this manual in their place and tell them, I'm the shepherd. I'm supposed to feed the members. Under the lead of President, not head of the church, Russell Marion Nelson. How can we feed his, in brackets, sheep? Elder Gary E. Stevenson explained how we can fulfill the Lord's commandment to feed his sheep. And this is one of those illiteracy videos I can do. Where the conference talk video clip of a living prophet of Jesus has nothing to do with any scripture ever. Where are you getting this from? Who is a shepherd? You are. You even stole the responsibility over tithing. In case you didn't read section 120 or section 42. It's the High Council. There's supposed to be a High Council in every single ward, too. And they, as a council, touch tithing. Not the missionaries. The ward missionaries, no, they don't touch the tithing. Nonetheless, Jesus had 12, and yeah, it didn't even have to do with literal history because it has to do with the 12 stars in Leo on the 23rd of September 2017. Nonetheless, they knew that Brigham Young, as the president of the 12, would usurp Joseph's church after murdering him, cooing it, turning a Christian, would claim to be the head of the church. Prophecy, spirit of real Jewish seers, prophets, revelators for days and hours, and translators. And so, every man, woman, and child in the kingdom, we're a kingdom in 2023? Because Nelson kept saying throughout the whole term, until finally in his last conference talk, he said he doesn't know the day and the hour anymore. In the coming day, in the coming days, in the coming day, in the coming days, in the coming day, in the coming days. Seriously? Seriously? You don't know anymore, huh? Oh, Trump failed in 2025. That's why? That's why you stopped the temples? That's why you stopped the devotionals to young single adults that you increased the age of young for? So that Gilbert comes out and says, we've got a surge of people in CES now. Yeah, because they raised the age of young single adults to 35. No duh, you had a surge. Just like when Monson lowered the age of missionaries, there was a surge. These people think you're dumb. And those of you who believe them, yeah, you're dumb. Members are not to be the congregation as the shepherd. They're the sheep. And here Gary E. Stevenson is passing the buck of his responsibility to say, no, you are. You sheep are now the shepherd. Well, when we take on leadership that we don't have authority for, you bust us. Do you see their trap? They refuse to do their job. They neglect the members. This is the very definition of it. Gary E. Stevenson, which got put in the manual to justify the feeling crap. And so the answer to the feelings and impressions is, this church isn't true. I'm supposed to be taken care of as a member. And Gary is saying, I'm supposed to lead the church? I'm supposed to feed people? I gave the church my money. What are you doing with it? How can Mormons be so blind? How can Mormons be so deceived? And he goes and says, temporally or spiritually, we run to their aid. So the church news over and 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 over. When I do these kinds of videos, when I say that the church isn't giving charity, it's always a business deal. Church comes out and says, members of the church are giving charity. And we, the church, are taking credit for it. You're the ones profiting off of it. so he uses other scriptures that have nothing to do with the flock or the shepherd of the flock. The Lord lovingly expects this of us. Yeah, now he includes us when he doesn't do it. Yep, the words of a con man. Pronoun adjustment. And the day will come when we will be held accountable for the care we take in ministering to his flock. Really? There's going to be a judgment day for you, Stevenson? Are you on my watch list? My Deadpool? I don't see you. Anderson was the final one for my Deadpool. So Stevenson gets away from that one. But you're an additional one. After the fact. Because you're still conforming and complying to those who were originally a part of it. It's just sick and wrong. Improving our teaching, reserve time for learners to share. There are plenty of ward I've been in where teachers do not want certain members to share because they always share what people don't want them to share. When learners share what they are learning, they not only feel the Spirit. Seer, prophet, revelator, translator, or are you saying to deny the Spirit? And strengthen their own testimonies. You can't strengthen a testimony. You can't lose it. You either have it or you don't. It's the fruit, of the seed of the feeling. You're supposed to plant it in good soil. Not wayside, not thorny, not stony. Good soil. Produce the results. And by that you will know a false prophet, Gary E. Stevenson. When he gives you that crap. Because they tell you to read it silently. And then the teacher is supposed to read the manual. How can we feel his sheep? Feed his sheep. Feel in the brain. And so every single member should go, wait a minute, that's not what it said. Gary is one of the 12 that Jesus is talking to, and Nelson is Peter. Technically, Jesus is Nelson. But Nelson isn't the head of the church as the president. And so it was Oakes who was the president of the 12, and thus Peter. Oakes, feed my sheep. You know I don't love you. Because we're homophobic. Where'd you get that from? That's not one of the loves that I gave you. It's neither agape or philo. Well, philo is brotherly love. Yeah, brotherly. Family. Yeah, I don't do incest. Kiev translator. The gift, the mantle title. I cannot help you, Mormons. If you're going to be that stupid. I can't help you. I just want Zion, and it ain't going to happen. The church is running you into the ground to murder you. You are unable to see their death threats by Oaks. Again, a second year. Because remember, Trump failed last year to cause Armageddon. I don't get it. I don't get it. So here's some things to be concerned about, because Oaks, again, is giving you 5 death threats now for an Armageddon event before Easter. And we should probably do that countdown. So, 28th. Easter's on the 5th. And so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So 5 times 7 is 35 days. Trump has 35 days to cause Armageddon, since he failed last year to do it. Let me write this down. Why is it women? Can't we be a good boy and get sex? Do we have to be the bad boy in order to get sex, but then we don't get a relationship? I want to know. Am I allowed to ask you, Idaho chick? Because there's no other woman following me, apparently. I don't get to have a woman of my own. So I have nobody else to ask. So how do you have a relationship with your husband then? I don't get it. Do you treat him as a bad boy every single day? Am I allowed to ask? Am I going to be in trouble now? 35 days. Countdown. Oh my God, I'm just not. Count. God. So, in the news, Hegseth has declared war on Boy Scouts. And again, the beginning of my video, loyalty. This is why I do not cave on my loyalty to a false religion. Is because my nation comes first. I was a Boy Scout. My mom made sure I became an Eagle Scout. But even in my interview, after all I'd accomplished in scouting, to get the 5 Peaks Award for going to the top of the mountain 5 times. And all those merit badges that were required. Doing the work for my project. In my interview to become an Eagle Scout, there were 2 men and 1 woman on the council judging me. Judgy. They asked me, the one guy asked me, do you see yourself involved in the scouting program in the future, going forward? You shouldn't have said see, because now you're asking me to vision my future. And I'm a very obedient, literal boy. When a woman says something to me, I take it literally. So in grade school, while all of the kids were playing cootie tag, I was told that I'm not supposed to get tagged by a female. Okay. And I was a winner. No female touched me. No, I was the biggest loser. Because that's not how the game's supposed to be played. Nobody told me those rules. What is it? Bad boy repeatedly every day. Good boy never. Which is it? And so, because I've already been a visionary boy, because my 86 dream, that's what I did. I went into my brain to look into the future. And I saw myself, okay, there might be a woman who will have a relationship with me. Boy, was I so naive. As a good boy wanting sex. And I might have a boy. I didn't know I could determine the sex. I don't get taught sex ed as a Mormon. They didn't do it in California. And so, yeah, he'll grow up and he'll be involved in the scouting program. And so, okay, there's a good, quick, easy answer to give. Answer is yes. I see myself as a father having a boy and putting him through the scouting program and helping him along. But then, that dream voice interfered. No, she's not going with you across the street. Yes, she is. No, she's not. What do you mean she's not? I want her to come across the street with me. I don't want to be alone. She's not going with you. She's going around the building to get caught by the guards. But she... My 86 dream. That voice. And again, he's saying, no, you won't have this. What do you mean I won't have this? I've been the good boy. No. Remember, she's going around the building to get caught. She's not going with you. Oh, my bleeping hell. I can't tell them no. I had to be honest. I was told to say no. I had to be honest. Even though it was likely to cost me my Eagle Scout award that my mom made sure I would get. And so I said no. I don't. How do you explain that there was a little voice in your head saying, no, you will not have a woman who will stay with you? So that you would be involved in the Boy Scouts and all. So true. So I said, okay. Go wait out in the hall. And oh my God, it took forever. The longest decision ever in recorded Boy Scout history. Because for all of us, it should have been a quick boom. Oh, you're awesome. Great, here's your award. You're so special. We'll do the special presentation in church, at the church, to give you your little pin, and your mommy gets it too, because we all know the mothers are the ones who... They eventually come out. I'm sitting there with the other guy, bored. Going, I don't think I'm gonna get it. Mommy's gonna be mad. And so they come out and they say, you got it, but you almost didn't. It was only because of the female that you got it. And so they told the story of how she stepped in and said, well, we do teach them to be honest, and he was honest. Oh, well, but and so, yes, the lessons I learned in scouting, I applied to my life anyway. So I could have answered yes for that, but I was told to say no. It's not my fault. So, with Hegseth threatening the Boy Scouts to be morally straight, to return to my days as the Boy Scout, because we had morally straight in it, during the homophobic 80s, they altered the meaning of morally straight. Because moral refers to being honest and having honor and integrity. When confronted with people who want you to deny your honor and integrity, to to compromise it. And here's what Hegseth is doing to the Boy Scouts. He is extorting them to deny funding if they don't lose their honor and integrity as Boy Scouts. Now, they've already lost it. Church already destroyed their honor and integrity with the raping of 3,000 boys by the Boy Scout leaders, all Mormon, and the church refused to take responsibility and pay for it, and thus abandoned the Boy Scouts to create their own youth programs. Hey kids, you want to join the Hitler Youth Battalion of Jesus? Yay! What do I have to do? Give up your cell phones and convert your kids, your peers, regardless of parental permission, to extort their parents. We baptized your kid without your permission. You better join now or you're going to burn in hell. Yeah, compromising honor and integrity. The church's way. And so, yeah, allowing for gay kids is a real trigger, but there was no such thing. It was the bullies in the first place who created it. And then psychologists stepped in, just bully further. I embrace and support you as gay, Billy. But I'm not gay. But you keep talking about how you want to bleep them up the bleep for saying that you're gay. Oh no, I am gay. And you were born this way, even though puberty is when you... And the whole world fell for it, to the Nazis who were thanking their American liberators ever since in psychology to perform these human experimentations on Americans, specifically in Utah, the highest per capita in the universe. But when the Boy Scouts dared to allow girls in, oh, that was my most awesomest dream as a Boy Scout, to have girls come with us on campouts. Ooh, do I get to stay in the same tent with her? Please? We're all for Girl Scouts in the Boy Scouts. As boys. And yet, the church said, oh, hell no! Oh, come on! I'm a good boy! Can't good guys ever get a break? So, yeah. Church left, refused to take responsibility for their own actions, blamed others. And now Hegseth is threatening the Boy Scouts to return to the original Boy Scouts. Which they should have. They should have never caved to the peer pressure. Because it's all about science in those buttons. So there is no spiritual witness feeling badge in Boy Scouts. The church had to make their own separate award for that one, the Faith in God Award. so to make women happy, because girls were not treated equally in this church, the girls got Molly medallions. Here. And so, yes, when Hinckley came out and said 1 earring per set, and then came out, and you might as well just not have any adornments, women. You're ugly. Cover up and hide. And you're still in the church? I don't get it. I don't get it. So, Anthropic AI. Again, Hegseth is involved. He wanted AI for our military. He wanted an exclusive contract from Anthropic AI to be employed by the military. Anthropic AI said no. So Trump, backing up Hegseth, is now refusing to allow the government to have Anthropic AI. They will use another AI instead. And so that's supposed to ruin Anthropic AI's business. It's his negotiating tactic. Conform and comply or die. So back to the homophobic 80s. Under Obama, he allowed gay marriage, and then thus DEI emerged to give exclusive laws of segregation to those who are LGBTQ, to have diversity, equity, not equality, and inclusion, I believe is the words for DEI. And I already saw the dangers of this in Southern California, as there was a city in California that required that each business hire a percentage of racist groups, so that whites wouldn't dominate. So they had to have a certain number of Mexicans, a certain number of blacks, a certain number of women, a certain number of Asians, to show that they were DEI. This was the pre-DEI era. One city was experimenting with this. And it was wrong. It's a violation of the Constitution, because businesses should be choosing based on resumes and not based on, oh crap, we gotta hire you because you're black. When you've got no experience, when you've got no education, because the whites wouldn't let you have it. It's not how you solve the problem. And so yeah, businesses were forced to hire people who couldn't do the job. And guess what happened to the jobs? Yeah, they had to go bust. And so that immediately stopped. But then, yeah, under Obama, it got forced nationwide. And so people were allowed to change their identifications, their driver's licenses, change their birth certificates. I'm a trans furry Antifa terrorist communist Colombian, Venezuelan, Canadian, Greenland, Gazan, Iranian terrorist. I need special laws to protect just me and nobody else. And I warned you, this is exactly what was done in advance of Nazi Germany. They identified people, And so when Nazi Germany took over power, they went over those lists and they gave you a pretty little triangle inverted. And it had a different color for your specific identification. And yep, you then were put in a certain concentration camp. And then they began experimenting with gassing you. Mostly it was Jews with their specific triangle inverted. But there were others. It wasn't just Jews, but it was mostly Jews. And I warned you, history is going to repeat itself. Don't fall for it. And you fell for it. So here we are. Trump has already designated 2 sexes, did away with DEI, and here we go. They're now going after those on the list who changed their ID and changed their birth certificate. It was a blacklist the whole time. What a shocker. How did I ever know? They're coming to get you. And yeah, it's the one particular state at the moment, Kansas, canceling your IDs. So people are panicked. We need our ID. You're now illegal. What a shocker. How did Travis know this? Is he a seer? I listened to Trump's inauguration speech. I listened to Trump's rallies and interviews before the AI projection of him winning. You're not listening. You're being set up for the slaughter. God. So, yeah, everybody is falling again for the diversion. Trump knew that by putting the Clintons on the hot seat, the Dems would be screaming for Trump to be in the hot seat. We know this. It's a diversionary tactic to lengthen out the process, to extend it out as far as it can go. We know this. This is what he does every time he gets sued. He purposely delays it, extends it out, because in all his cases, they get dropped. We know this, deep state Dem Antifa press. What the bleeping hell are you forgetting this for? And so they're trying to claim, yeah, now that the Clintons have been interrogated, it's time for Trump and Melania. They're named in the Epstein files. Yeah, so is Ivanka. Don't forget her. And her black and white dress that she was wearing for the SOTU. Yep. Gotta pay attention to her fashion choice. She's far better than Melania's fashion choices. Melania was the model. But so was Ivanka in her early years when she was meeting with Epstein. I mean, Daddy. And so no, having the Clintons go first is a distraction tactic. Trump knows they're coming after him. It's been made very clear they're coming after him. The press just doesn't get it. There's an Armageddon attack coming. And Trump is under pressure to make it happen this time. That's why they posted the unredacted Epstein files, and then they went, oops, there's pictures of Trump. And so they pulled those again. We already know from the first failure of the leaks, the last leaks, the releases, is because the one where the little girl, I think she was 14, maybe 13, I don't know how old she was, she bit Trump's penis. And so that got pulled. So yes, if those Epstein files have Trump in one of them getting bit on his penis by a little girl, yeah, there's some other gems in there too. Obviously, that's not the point. The point is that the puppet masters over this, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is using the Epstein files as leverage, just like Epstein did. Photographing all of the people to have dirt on them, because Epstein knows that if he's going to go down for it, so is all these other guys and girls. And so that's why Ghislaine Maxwell was at the Clinton wedding. And the press are just, oh, come on, guys, investigate. Don't just react and respond. Investigate. It's not hard to figure out. Why is Ghislaine the only one who's sticking out her head, specifically looking into the camera? Hello? She's there to compromise the Clintons. We all know there is no such thing as a sex addiction. Clinton is horny, just like every guy. Whether he's the good guy wanting sex or the bad guy wanting sex but no relationship. He's still a guy. That's why Russia uses girls as honeypots to compromise people. That's what Epstein was doing, compromising people. Since he's going to be involved in it, I'm going to make sure all of you get compromised, and I'm going to have photographs and keep all of the records. So if I go down, all of you go down. So yeah, it was very tragic. An accident in jail for those 2 minutes. No duh. And so yes, that's why Ghislaine understands very clearly her position. She's likely to be next. So that's why she's trying to get Trump to let her go. I want immunity. I want to be pardoned. Set me free. I can expose all of you. Do it now. It's all hitting the fan. So yes, this is being used to force Trump to hurry up and cause Armageddon. So yeah, they are trying as hard as they can to extend this out as long as they can, now that it's hit the fan. Because Trump failed in 2025. And another embassy is being evacuated. Israel's. Yep. a clear indicator that we're about to go to war against Iran, to again divert from the Epstein files. But if they can let this cause Armageddon, great, but it's not likely. Those in America from Iran are not happy with the regime and have been asking Trump to take out the regime so they can be free like Venezuela is now free. So I don't see how this is going to cause Armageddon. But if it can be an instance where Iran bombs Israel and causes the Revelation War, which is the likely scenario here, that's why they removed our people from the embassy in Israel. They're self-fulfilling the self-fulfilling interpretation prophecy that Christianity and that Leahy guy of Left Behind series was all about for the secret combination. That the church is the secret combination of the secret combination to coup the government. So there you go. There we have it. So now I can go off for my run. And put in the pretty little picture that nobody will care about. I did put these in a video, didn't I? Because I had them all numbered to be put in a video. It's just so long ago, the other week. So yeah, we'll put them both in. Feed my sheep and storehouses.